During a time when the AIDS epidemic ravaged countless communities, many black actors found themselves on the front lines, their careers and lives cut short by this relentless disease. Sadly, their struggles were often shrouded in silence, overshadowed by stigma and fear. Yet, these individuals left an indelible mark, their legacies echoing across the entertainment industry and beyond. Let's explore the powerful stories of black actors who bravely confronted AIDS, leaving behind a timeless legacy. Howard Rollins was once a rising star in Hollywood, celebrated for his commanding performances in films like Ragtime and A Soldier's Story. His breakout role as Cole House Walker Jr. in Ragtime not only earned him critical acclaim, but also secured him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a rare feat for black actors during that era. On the surface, Rollins seemed poised for a long, successful career. Rollins reached new heights of fame portraying Virgil Tibbs, a sharp and principled detective in the TV adaptation of In the Heat of the Night. Audiences admired his powerful portrayal, but as his stardom soared, so did his inner battles. Unbeknownst to many, Rollins was secretly facing an AIDS diagnosis, a reality he kept hidden due to the stigma that surrounded the disease, particularly for black men in Hollywood at that time. Alongside this, he struggled with addiction, which began to impact his work and led to multiple arrests for drug-related offenses. Eventually, his erratic behavior caused him to be replaced on In the Heat of the Night in its later seasons. As he fought to keep his public image intact, his health deteriorated and acting roles became increasingly scarce. Rollins's quiet battle with AIDS remained hidden from the public eye until his death in 1996, at just 46 years old. Eazy-E, born Eric Wright, was nothing short of a revolutionary force in the world of hip-hop. As the founding member of the iconic rap group NWA, his unapologetically raw style and powerful lyrics transformed the genre of gangsta rap. Eazy-E's music was more than just beats. It was a megaphone for the harsh realities of life in South Central Los Angeles. Tracks like Boys in the Hood and N.W.A.'s game-changing album Straight Outta Compton gave a voice to a generation facing systemic racism and police brutality, solidifying Eazy-E as a cultural icon of the late 1980s and early 1990s. However, despite his meteoric rise, Eazy-E's life took a shocking and tragic turn in 1995. What he initially thought was a battle with asthma turned out to be a diagnosis of AIDS. The revelation stunned fans and the entire hip-hop community, as AIDS was still heavily stigmatized, particularly in black and urban circles. Just a month after sharing his diagnosis, Eazy-E passed away at the young age of 30. Eazy-E's diagnosis and untimely death forced a crucial conversation within the black community and beyond. At the time, HIV/AIDS was often misunderstood as a disease that only affected gay white men. But Eazy-E's story shattered these misconceptions, making it painfully clear that the disease did not discriminate by race, sexuality, or status. Max Robinson was a trailblazer who forever changed the face of American journalism. As the first black man to anchor a network news broadcast in the United States, he shattered racial barriers when he co-anchored ABC's World News Tonight in the late 1970s. With his commanding presence and powerful storytelling, Robinson became a symbol of progress and a role model for countless aspiring black journalists. His career was not just a triumph for him personally, but a beacon of hope for change in an industry that had long sidelined people of color. However, behind the scenes, Robinson grappled with personal struggles that he kept hidden from the public eye. By the late 1980s, he was diagnosed with AIDS, a revelation he chose to keep private. At the time, the stigma surrounding AIDS was overwhelming, particularly within the black community, where misinformation and fear about the disease were rampant. Robinson's decision to stay silent about his diagnosis was a reflection of the immense pressure he faced to maintain a public image, especially in an era when HIV/AIDS was associated with shame and discrimination. Robinson's secret battle with AIDS only became public knowledge after his death in 1988 at the age of 49. His passing sent shockwaves through the media world and shed light on the devastating impact of the epidemic on the Black community, which was often overlooked in conversations about the crisis. Sylvester James Jr., known simply as Sylvester, was a trailblazer who electrified the disco era and became an enduring icon for both the Black and LGBTQ+ communities. With his magnetic stage presence, powerhouse vocals, and unapologetically queer identity, Sylvester stood out in the music world of the late 1970s. His unforgettable hits like You Make Me Feel, Mighty Real, and Dance Disco Heat became anthems of liberation, celebrating individuality, self-expression, and the joy of living authentically. Sylvester's persona was a fearless blend of androgyny, glamour, and high-energy performances, challenging gender norms and defying racial stereotypes. In the 1980s, as the AIDS epidemic began to ravage the LGBTQ+ community, Sylvester became one of its most prominent figures affected by the disease. Diagnosed in 1988, he chose to face his diagnosis with courage and transparency, using his platform to raise awareness during a period when the stigma surrounding AIDS was severe, particularly among Black and gay individuals. Sylvester's openness about his battle with AIDS was groundbreaking. He used his fame not just to entertain, but to advocate for compassion and understanding for those affected by the epidemic. Despite his declining health, he remained a vocal advocate, urging the public to show empathy rather than fear. Sylvester passed away in 1988 at the age of 41, but his legacy as a disco pioneer and fierce advocate for LGBTQ+ rights lives on. Reggie White, famously known as the Minister of Defense, was a football legend whose impact on the NFL remains unmatched. With a stellar career spanning 15 years, he was celebrated as one of the greatest defensive ends to ever grace the field. His sheer strength, agility, and ability to dominate opponents made him a force to be reckoned with. But beyond his athletic prowess, White was deeply devoted to his Christian faith, a commitment that earned him his iconic nickname. In addition to his accomplishments on the gridiron, he dabbled in acting, where his larger-than-life personality translated to the screen. However, the story of Reggie White took a tragic turn when he was diagnosed with AIDS, a revelation that sent shockwaves through the sports community and beyond. Known for his outspoken religious convictions, White was always vocal about living a life guided by faith, often emphasizing, "I tried to do it God's way." His diagnosis ignited discussions about the intersection of faith, illness, and stigma, particularly in Black and Christian circles where AIDS was frequently misunderstood and stigmatized. Unlike many public figures, White chose to be open about his condition, using his platform to shed light on the realities of the disease. His willingness to speak out was a bold move, aimed at dispelling the myths that surrounded AIDS, especially within communities of color and religious groups. Reggie White passed away in 2004 at the age of 43, yet his legacy endures. Alvin Ailey was a visionary choreographer who transformed the landscape of modern dance, leaving an indelible mark on the world of the performing arts. Born in Texas in 1931, Ailey grew up facing the harsh realities of segregation, yet found refuge in the arts, where he discovered his true passion for dance. In 1958, he founded the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, a groundbreaking company that celebrated African American culture while seamlessly blending modern jazz and ballet influences. Ailey was known for rejecting the cookie-cutter approach to dance. Instead, He sought individuals who could express themselves with both technical prowess and artistic depth, believing that dance was a powerful medium for storytelling and self-expression. Under his guidance, the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater became a platform for elevating Black dancers, showcasing their talents on an international stage. Yet, behind his success, Ailey was privately battling AIDS, a struggle he chose to keep hidden due to the intense stigma surrounding the disease, especially within the Black community and the arts world at that time. The AIDS epidemic was claiming countless lives, particularly among LGBTQ+ artists, and Ailey was no exception. Despite his declining health, he continued to choreograph and inspire others, demonstrating unwavering resilience. When Ailey passed away in 1989 at the age of 58, it was a devastating loss to the dance world. Jermaine Stewart was an American singer who rose to fame in the mid-1980s, best known for his infectious hit single, "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off." With its catchy melody and empowering message about self-respect, the song became a global sensation, landing in the top 10 on both the US and UK charts. Stewart's smooth, soulful vocals paired with upbeat dance rhythms made him a standout figure in the R&B and pop scenes of the 1980s, earning him a devoted following. Before his solo breakthrough, Stewart honed his craft as a backup dancer and singer for groups like Shalimar, gradually stepping into the spotlight as a solo artist. The success of "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off" marked Stewart as a refreshing new voice in pop music. He followed this hit with other danceable tracks like "Jody" and "Say It Again," solidifying his place in the music industry. However, as the late 1980s gave way to the 1990s, Stewart's career began to lose momentum, and his public appearances became less frequent. Behind the scenes, his health was quietly deteriorating. In the early 1990s, Stewart was diagnosed with AIDS, a diagnosis he chose to keep private due to the intense stigma that surrounded the disease at the time. Sadly, Stewart's battle with AIDS remained largely hidden from the public eye, and he passed away in 1997 at the young age of 39. Kenny Green, the soulful voice and creative mastermind behind the R&B group Intro, was a defining figure in the 1990s music scene. With his smooth vocals and exceptional songwriting skills, Green helped shape the sound of Intro, making them a standout act in the era. Known for their sensual and heartfelt ballads, the group produced hits like "Ribbon in the Sky," "Come Inside," and "Let Me Be the One," tracks that became staples of 90s R&B. Green's gift for blending soulful melodies with raw, emotional lyrics endeared the group to fans, ensuring their music remains beloved to this day. Beyond his success with Intro, Green also made a significant impact as a songwriter, crafting hits for some of R&B's biggest names, including Mary J. Blige. He played an instrumental role in writing and producing tracks on her debut album, What's the 411, cementing his reputation as a versatile and influential figure in the music industry. Despite his remarkable professional achievements, Green faced immense personal struggles. In the late 1990s, Green was diagnosed with AIDS, a revelation he kept hidden due to the heavy stigma surrounding the disease, particularly within the Black community and the music industry. However, in a brave move, he revealed his diagnosis and openly discussed his bisexuality in an interview shortly before his passing. Kenny Green's death in 2001 at the young age of 32 was a devastating loss for the R&B world. Kevin Peter Hall was an American actor whose towering 7'2" frame and impressive physicality made him a legend in the world of sci-fi cinema. He is best remembered for his role as the fearsome alien hunter in Predator and Predator 2, where he brought an unforgettable intensity to the character. Hall's portrayal of the Predator required not only athleticism, but also a nuanced performance beneath heavy layers of costume and makeup, cementing the Predator as one of the most iconic villains of the 1980s. But Hall's talents were not limited to playing terrifying extraterrestrials. He had already gained recognition for his role as the gentle Sasquatch in the beloved film Harry and the Hendersons. His ability to convey warmth and emotion through physically demanding roles made him a standout talent in Hollywood. Before stepping into these iconic roles, Hall had been steadily building an impressive acting career, winning admiration for his ability to bring depth and humanity to characters hidden behind prosthetics and costumes. His work earned him widespread respect among his peers and endeared him to audiences who appreciated the heart he brought to his larger-than-life characters. Tragically, Hall's rising success in Hollywood was cut short in the late 1980s when he was diagnosed with HIV. He contracted the virus through a contaminated blood transfusion during surgery, a heartbreaking and unforeseen consequence that would eventually lead to AIDS. Despite his diagnosis, Hall continued to work and inspire those around him, but his condition worsened, and he passed away in 1991 at the young age of 35. Ron Vawter was a gifted and fearless actor who left a profound legacy in the world of experimental theater. As a key member of the Wooster Group, an avant-garde theater collective based in New York City, Vawter's work resonated deeply with those in artistic circles, particularly among Black actors who admired his bold, boundary-pushing performances. Vawter's versatility as an actor was best exemplified in his dual role in Roy Cohn, Jack Smith, 1992, where he portrayed two vastly different characters: Roy Cohn, the infamous lawyer known for his ruthless tactics, and Jack Smith, an openly gay avant-garde filmmaker. This daring performance showcased Vawter's ability to blur the lines between actor and character, forcing audiences to confront their perceptions of identity, sexuality, and power structures. In the early 1990s, Vawter was diagnosed with AIDS, a devastating reality that affected many within the theater and LGBTQ+ communities at the time. Despite his illness, he continued to perform, refusing to let his diagnosis overshadow his art or spirit. Even as his health declined, Vawter remained an active member of the Wooster Group, using his platform to bring attention to the AIDS crisis within the arts community. His courage to continue performing, even in the face of a life-threatening illness, left an indelible mark on the world of theater. When Vawter passed away in 1994, the loss was deeply felt across the industry. Rock Hudson, the Hollywood heartthrob of the 1950s and 60s, was one of the most beloved actors of his era, famous for his romantic roles in classics like Pillow Talk and Giant. With his rugged good looks and charm, Hudson embodied traditional masculinity and became an idol for millions. However, in 1985, the world was stunned when Hudson became the first major Hollywood star to publicly announce that he had AIDS. Although Hudson was not Black, his courageous decision to go public with his battle against AIDS had a profound impact on the entertainment industry, especially among Black actors and artists who had long remained silent about the disease due to fear and stigma. At a time when HIV/AIDS was grossly misunderstood and often unfairly associated solely with the gay community, Hudson's announcement brought unprecedented international attention to the epidemic. As a global celebrity, his openness helped humanize the issue, breaking down barriers and sparking conversations that had previously been taboo. Hudson's brave fight against AIDS, which ultimately led to his death just months after his diagnosis became public, marked a pivotal moment in the push for AIDS awareness. His willingness to face the disease with dignity in his final days influenced countless others in the entertainment industry, including Black actors and artists, to share their own stories, helping to destigmatize the conversation around HIV, AIDS. Merritt Butrick may not have been a household name, but he left a lasting impact in the world of science fiction, particularly through his memorable roles in the Star Trek franchise. Known for portraying David Marcus, the son of Captain Kirk in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, Butrick became a beloved figure among fans of all backgrounds. Beyond his contributions to Star Trek, Butrick was a versatile actor who appeared in numerous TV shows and films throughout the 1980s. His distinct presence and talent left a strong impression, particularly on younger fans and fellow actors who saw him as a rising star in Hollywood. His roles resonated with viewers, making him a standout talent whose potential seemed boundless. However, Butrick's promising career was tragically cut short when he was diagnosed with AIDS during the height of the epidemic. Like many in the entertainment industry at the time, he kept his diagnosis private due to the intense stigma surrounding the disease. Despite his deteriorating health, he continued to work, embodying the spirit of resilience until his final days. Butrick passed away in 1989 at just 29 years old, a loss that sent shockwaves through the Star Trek fan community and the broader entertainment world. His death was a stark reminder of the devastating impact of AIDS, particularly during an era when the disease was misunderstood and often shrouded in silence. Timi Euro, often referred to as the little girl with the big voice, was a powerhouse singer whose soulful sound left a lasting imprint on the music world. Though not black, Euro's rich, emotionally charged vocal style resonated deeply with black musicians and performers, particularly in the realms of soul and R&B. Her music was a unique blend of raw emotion and deep, resonant tones, drawing inspiration from blues and gospel traditions rooted in black musical heritage. Euro's most iconic hit, Hurt, released in 1961, became a soul classic covered by countless artists over the years. Euro's crossover appeal earned her the respect of many black musicians, who recognized her authenticity and passion. Legends like Etta James and Aretha Franklin admired Euro's gift for channeling raw emotion into her performances, qualities that are central to the essence of soul music. Even Frank Sinatra praised her, recognizing her as a remarkable talent capable of touching listeners' hearts with every note. Despite her early success, Euro's career faced significant setbacks due to health issues. Throat problems eventually led to the loss of her powerful voice, forcing her to step away from the spotlight. Although she made brief attempts to return to music in later years, she struggled to regain the recognition she once had. By the early 2000s, Euro's health had deteriorated further. She was diagnosed with throat cancer, and complications related to AIDS eventually led to her passing in 2004. Michael Jeter was a beloved actor whose unforgettable roles in The Green Mile and Sesame Street endeared him to audiences around the world. Known for his incredible versatility, Jeter seamlessly transitioned between heart-wrenching dramatic performances and joyful children's programming, leaving a profound impact on Hollywood and beyond. In The Green Mile, 1999, he portrayed Edouard Delacroix, a death row inmate, with such emotional depth and vulnerability that his performance became one of the most memorable parts of the film. Jeter's role on Sesame Street as Mr. Noodle in the Elmo's World segment brought joy to millions of children, transcending race and background. His quirky and lovable portrayal connected with young viewers, solidifying his place as a cherished figure in children's television. Sesame Street, known for championing diversity and inclusion, was a fitting home for an actor like Jeter, who had a unique ability to bring humor, heart, and humanity to his roles, resonating with audiences of all ages and backgrounds. While Jeter was not black, his contributions to the world of film and television deeply resonated with actors across racial lines. He was celebrated not just for his talent, but also for his kindness, generosity, and unwavering dedication to his craft. Tragically, Jeter was diagnosed with HIV, yet he continued to work courageously throughout his illness. His openness about his diagnosis and his commitment to his art helped break down the stigma surrounding the disease, humanizing the fight against HIV/AIDS. Jeter passed away in 2003 at the age of 50, but his legacy lives on. Denholm Elliott, born in London in 1922, was an actor whose face you'd recognize even if his name didn't ring a bell. With over 125 film and TV credits, Elliott became known for playing charming, slightly befuddled characters that often stole the spotlight. His journey to acting wasn't typical. He served in the Royal Air Force during World War II and spent 3 years as a prisoner of war before finding his calling on stage and screen. Some of Elliott's most memorable roles include Marcus Brody in the Indiana Jones films, Coleman in Trading Places, and Mr. While his personal life included 2 marriages and 2 children, Elliott kept his bisexuality private for much of his life. In 1987, at the age of 65, Elliott was diagnosed with HIV, but continued to work, appearing in films like Noble House and Toy Soldiers. He passed away on October 6, 1992, in Ibiza, Spain, from AIDS-related tuberculosis at the age of 70. To honor his legacy, BAFTA named an award after him, ensuring his impact on British cinema continues to inspire future generations. Willi Smith, born in 1948 in Philadelphia, was far from your typical fashion designer. Known as the godfather of streetwear, Smith brought a fresh, urban perspective to fashion. After being expelled from Parsons School of Design, he launched his revolutionary label, Willi Wear, in 1976. His designs blended sportswear with high fashion, creating affordable and stylish clothes for everyday people. Smith's partnership with Lane Barker, both in business and life, helped Willi Wear soar to success, grossing over $25 million by the mid-1980s. Beyond fashion, Smith collaborated with artists, filmmakers, and even designed Mary Jane Watson's wedding dress in the Spider-Man comics. Tragically, Smith's life was cut short when he passed away on April 17, 1987, at just 39. Though his company honored his privacy regarding his battle with AIDS, his impact on modern streetwear remains undeniable. Willi Smith's legacy continues to shape the fashion industry, making it more inclusive, vibrant, and reflective of the world around us. Roy Cohn, a polarizing figure in mid-20th century American politics, left a lasting impact long after his death. Born in New York City in 1927 to a wealthy Jewish family, Cohn rose to national prominence during the 1950s as chief counsel to Senator Joseph McCarthy during the infamous Army McCarthy hearings. He played a key role in prosecuting suspected communists, including his involvement in the trial of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, which led to their execution.
Well, I couldn't say it about me because I never cited my illness as a reason for anything. Anyone who knows me knows I don't plead.
Beyond the Red Scare, Cohn was also a major figure in the Lavender Scare, advocating for the ban of LGBTQ+ individuals from federal employment, despite ongoing rumors about his own sexuality. Known for his aggressive style, Cohn represented high-profile clients like Donald Trump and Rupert Murdoch, becoming a formidable force in the legal world. In 1984, Cohn was diagnosed with HIV, but he kept his condition secret, publicly attributing his declining health to liver cancer. He passed away on August 2, 1986 at the age of 59, never publicly acknowledging his HIV status or sexuality. Brad Davis, born Robert Creel Davis in 1949, lived a life as dramatic as his roles. Raised in a troubled household in Tallahassee, he found refuge in acting and gained fame with his breakout performance in Midnight Express, 1978, earning a Golden Globe. Known for bold, controversial roles like in Carell, he became a gay icon, though his personal life remained private.
Saw or thought of Carell, I still don't, as a homosexual film.
Davis married Susan Bluestein and had a daughter, but his battles with drug addiction led to an HIV diagnosis in 1985, which he kept hidden. Despite the stigma, he continued working in TV and film while enduring experimental treatments. On September 8, 1991, at age 41, Davis chose assisted suicide to spare his family from watching his decline, sparking discussions about AIDS stigma. His wife later shared their story in After Midnight, The Life and Death of Brad Davis, revealing the struggles and pressures he faced.
Thank you for watching my video. There are many other interesting things in the next videos. Please look forward to it. Thank you and goodbye.